It was just interesting that while I was reading this book, that I was actually seeing signs, and it came up in a way that I was not expecting. How I know that these words are guidance for me is the way that I feel when I see them. Hello, I am Yas and welcome to the Divinely Guided Book Club. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing what my journey has been like over the last 3 months, reading my book, guided, being with the reading theme for the first quarter, guided by the universe. I'm going to be sharing some of the things that have come up for me, some of the signs that I've been seeing, and how it is that I feel like I'm actually being guided during this time. So firstly, my experience reading this book, it was absolutely not what I thought it was going to be. I finished this book in about 2 months, maybe slightly under 2 months. And what I really thought I was going to do was to read consistently, like maybe read a chapter a day or to read a set number of chapters every week. That was the plan. I actually created a schedule. I'm a Virgo, I do these things. I created a weekly schedule of every single chapter that I would complete so that I could be complete with this book by like end of Feb, because I wanted to give myself the whole of March to really soak in everything that has come up from this book. But what happened was I ended up reading in like these bursts. So in my previous reading reflections video, I shared that I carried this book with me on my trip to Durban, where I spent almost a month with my family. That was so amazing. I ended up reading a lot while I was on that trip. Like, my head was actually hurting a bit, and like that should be a sign that I should stop reading, but I could not stop. It was so good. And what I found when I came back from my trip, when I got back home, was I didn't want to read anymore. Like, I was just tired of taking in information. Like, I had my time, I had that whole month of Jan where I was really absorbed in this book, and I was reading so many chapters in a single sit down. But when I got home a month later, I felt like I just wanted a break. And it's not to say that I didn't want to finish the book, because I was probably like halfway through the book by then. It's not that I didn't want to finish it. I just really needed a break. So that was interesting. And I did eventually finish the book towards the end of Feb. But I wonder if that break that I had was like guided so that I could start to pay attention to the things that were coming up, the things that I was seeing in my actual life, that I was actually being guided in my life. And there were really strange signs that were coming up. And this author of this book, Laura Lynne Jackson, she actually wrote another book called Signs. And it's the way in which the universe and your loved ones, your ancestors, your spirit guides are communicating with you to let you know that they are with you and they are supporting you and guiding you. I haven't read that book. I want to. There are too many books that I want to read. But it was just interesting that while I was reading this book, that I was actually seeing signs, and it came up in a way that I was not expecting. It showed up in the form of words, like literal words that you can see with your eyes. In the last few months and years, the way that I have been receiving guidance and that intuition, inner knowing, it's always come in the form of like this gut feeling, my heart pulling me in a certain direction. It's always been emotional and something that you cannot see. And I've learned to trust that, and I've learned to go with it. And maybe that is the hardest thing to actually pick up on as a sign, because we can so easily dismiss our feelings and our thoughts. But now I'm seeing physical words. And how I know that these words are guidance for me is the way that I feel when I see them. And 2 words have come up for me recently. The first one was medium. And I remember first seeing the word medium on a clothes hanger. It was when I was in Durban with my family, and the room that I was sleeping in had a hanger on the cupboard. And it was a size medium on that hanger. And like, usually if I see the word medium, it doesn't faze me. Like, it's just another word. But when I saw that word, and it's so interesting that it happened in Durban, like so far from my normal life. Why did this word only hit me in a different way over there? Maybe that's still something for me to figure out. But when I saw that word, I just knew this is not just the word medium. This is telling me something else. And I don't know what to make of it just yet. I don't know if it's telling me that I have the potential to be a medium. A medium is someone who can communicate with higher realms, with beings on the other side, behind the veil, with spirit guides, with people who have been on this earth and who have passed on. A medium is someone who can get into contact with these other beings. I don't know if this is what it's trying to tell me. I don't know if actual mediums, people who have the ability and who are practicing it, if it's just this spontaneous thing that just like awakens within them one day, or if it's something that they actually work towards to open their psychic channels, their unique abilities, if it's something that you actually have to dedicate yourself to and devote yourself to. Maybe it could be both, perhaps. I wouldn't mind being a medium. That would be cool. But it's okay if that's not the case. Maybe it's just reminding me that there are people out there who have these abilities, who can support me. So where I might be feeling uncertain and unstable and just not feeling really secure, because I still have that. Like, I'm still healing. I'm still transforming. It never really ends. I need the support too. It's available. It's available through books. This author is a medium. And there are people who are practicing mediumship, and I hope that it's being much more widely accepted. I take for granted the fact that I am so comfortable with it, and I'm just so accepting and open to these kinds of things. I tend to forget that a lot of people don't even know that it's a thing, and some people are just not willing to accept it. They think that it's evil and witchcraft, but like, witchcraft can be wonderful and magical. And anyway, let's not get into that, because that's a whole rabbit hole that we don't have time for. But another word that really stuck out for me, oh my goodness, this word, it has hit me heavily, it has hit me deeply, and that is the word home. And before I saw the word home, and I can feel myself getting emotional, let's see what happens. Before I saw the word home, I was hearing it in a song. It was recently released by the artist NF, and it's called Home. And what was so interesting about my experience listening to that song is that I cried every single time when I heard it. I could not explain the emotion that was coming up, I could not understand why every single time, literally every single time, I would just be a floodgate. Like every single thing that I miss so much, everything that I want to experience for my own good that I haven't as yet, all of that came up when I heard that song. And I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, okay, songs are known to bring about emotion. Like it's an emotional experience for the artist to create that song as well. So of course that emotion is getting infused into that piece of work. And when someone else listens to it, that's probably going to bring up an emotion for them as well. I didn't really think too much of it at the time. And then I went to Durban and I was with my family. And what came up was so crazy. It was while we were traveling, we were exploring KwaZulu-Natal. So we were in the car a lot. And the screen on the dashboard, I'm not sure what the official name for it is, but I at least have a picture for you here. It's not clear because I screenshot a picture from a video that I had taken. But it's that navigation screen that you see in vehicles on the dashboard. I saw the word home on that dashboard or on that screen. And of course the word home was just referring to the home screen. Like, it's not a big deal. The screen is not a spiritual teacher, or maybe it is, I don't know. But the word home was just referring to home screen. But when I saw it, I did not see home screen. I saw, or I felt rather, the true feeling of home. Like, home is not just a place that you were born in, or the place that you grew up in, or the physical building that you're living in, or the family that you were born into. Home is this human experience that you chose, that your soul chose. I was feeling that. It was this explosive feeling, this, like, I literally wanted to cry looking at the word home. It was so crazy, but it brought out so much emotion in me. And what followed on that screen was even more, I want to say crazy, but really it's not crazy because this is just the journey. This is the magical life experience that we have when we open ourselves up to guidance. There were some songs that were playing on the radio, and so the title of the song was appearing on the screen. And the first song that I noticed was Dance with My Father by Luther Vandross. And my mom actually loved this song. When I was growing up, this song played a lot in our home, in the car. It probably still is one of my mom's most favorite songs. But what actually stood out to me when I saw the lyrics on that screen was the word father. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm in the car. My dad is here. I'm blessed to still have my parents with me. Well, we're not living together. We're on opposite ends of the country, but I still have my parents on this earth. My mom and my dad, they're in this moment as I'm like having this, oh, what is happening experience. They're in the car with me. I noticed the word father and it strikes me. And I'm thinking, is my dad home? What does this mean? And while I'm still like letting this marinate, because things don't always make sense to me immediately. Sometimes it takes weeks, months, years for something that I saw to actually make perfect sense to me. And a lot of the times things just don't ever make sense. So while I'm still trying to figure out what is this feeling, what is happening to me, why am I feeling words, this doesn't make sense, then another song comes up. And that song was Heaven by DJ Sammy. And I mean, heaven could have its own meaning, but the word that actually struck me was Sammy, because my mom is often called Sammy by people in our family. I don't call her that. It's not really a nickname that she would have given herself. It's just what other people gave to her. But basically, it was relating back to my mom. So the first song made me think of my dad. The second song made me think of my mom. And they're both here with me in the moment. But I'm feeling something. Home. Home is my parents. Home is my mom. Home is my dad. Home is the experience that I chose to have with them. And some of it has been wonderful experiences. Some of it has been traumatic. But that's pretty much every person on this earth, right? Pretty much every person has gone through difficulties and great suffering with the people that they're closest to. This is home. The experiences that I've had with them and the opportunity that I have to still be with them, to have them here, and to move past everything that has been challenging for us, to relate to them in a different way, in a way where I feel empowered and confident in myself, and to still show up, be in their life, have them in my life, and know that it can only get better, because this is the journey that I am choosing to have. I am invested in it. I am devoting myself to it. I want to be able to create wonderful experiences and wonderful memories, because there will be a time when the only way that I can speak to them is through my mind. And I suppose that is a version of home still, because there's more to this earth than just physical interactions. I don't know. I will be honest and say that I don't know what to make of this feeling just yet. I don't know what to make of this word, home, just yet. But all I know is that it is a feeling that is so strong that it's undeniable, and I cannot ignore it. So what I do know is that I do want to have more of my life including family. It hasn't been that way for the last 10 years, because I was just putting all of my attention and energy into my career, and that career ended up ending. Was it worth it? It's hard to say. I have learned the very difficult and painful lesson that comes with investing all your time and attention in your career and forgetting about the people that are alive right now, who are alive for a temporary time. And I am grateful that I get to be where I am now, which is having the realization I do want to include people. It's not just family, it's friends as well. It's me having better, richer experiences with my cat, with my husband. I want that. So I'm definitely going to be doing something about it. I'm going to be much more intentional about how I spend my time, having more of a balance between work and allowing myself to be amongst people, to enjoy their company, and to know that it's okay to have a life outside of work. It's okay to have downtime. It's okay to switch off and just be your normal human self. It's fine. You can do that. And it can actually give you so much more satisfaction and fulfillment than just pouring everything that you have into one area of your life. So I'm definitely grateful for that experience. I'm grateful for these words that have been sticking out at me. And if I think about why is it that the universe guided me to this book, the reading theme was guided by the universe, and I just so happened to be drawn to this book guided. Why do I feel this particular book needed to find me? What lesson did it have for me during these last 3 months? It definitely has something to do with interacting with people, with loved ones, once they have passed on. So the book contains a lot of stories, real life stories of people who have lost someone close to them. It could be their romantic partner, their sibling, their child. And I should probably have mentioned that this could be triggering, and I do apologize if it is. If you're okay to continue listening about this topic, then proceed. If not, maybe pause and come back to it at a later time. But the book does talk a lot about the experiences that people have had losing someone that they could not imagine their life without. And I haven't really shared this pain that I've carried because it is painful. So I naturally don't want to talk about it. I have shared it with just a few close people in my life over the last few years. It came up for me at the beginning of 2024. So this was just a few months before I really went down the spiritual path, before I even found oracle cards for the first time. I was getting this intense, horrible, fearful, scary feeling like I'm going to lose someone. I'm going to lose the people that are closest to me. And at the time, I was in a terribly unbalanced state. I was putting everything that I had into my career, everything that I had into my creative pursuits, being a content creator. That was outside of work. My life just consisted of my full-time job and my content creation. Not that that was a job at the time, but that was taking up a lot of time. And I was also doing something that I'd never done before, which was public speaking. So this was like pre-YouTube. This was before I even posted my first video. I got the grand idea to speak in front of crowds of people about the experiences that I've had that have helped me to heal and to live a more fulfilling life. That took work, that took effort, and that took time from me because I was terrified to speak in front of people, and I was terrified to speak about the very things that have been so hard for me. And what was coming up for me, this fear that I'm going to lose the people that I'm closest to, it was because I was spending no time with them. I was only pouring all of my time and energy into my work. And it came out of nowhere. It felt like an existential crisis that I was having, where it was this terrible, horrible, very real feeling like something is going to be lost. I'm losing the opportunities that I have to be with the people that I want to have in my life. And it was the most conflicting thing that I've ever gone through, because I'm on this path of pursuing my passions. I'm on this path of expressing myself in a different way. I want to put myself out there. I want to take all of these opportunities that were available to me. But at the same time, it felt like I was falling apart because it was a trade-off that did not feel aligned for me. It didn't feel good to me to give up all my time where I have these people in my life. I have my cat. I have my husband. I have my parents. They're here now. I don't know how long they're going to be here. And like, I don't want to be pessimistic. I really don't want to be like, I'm not assuming the worst. I am not taking on a doom mindset. But it is a reality that things are temporary. That's just the nature of life. Nothing is permanent. It was hitting me so strongly that something needs to change. Or I'm going to end up spending my whole life being fixated on just one thing. And there will come a time where there's nothing left. So that fear came up back then. This is over 2 years ago? That I am terrified of the moment or the day that will come where I'm going to lose someone that I don't want to. And I'm actually quite surprised that I'm able to talk about this right now and be okay. And I'm totally fine with shedding tears. That has been part of my journey as well. Just being graceful and compassionate towards myself when I have emotions, because emotions are just part of the human experience. But I have just not known how to deal with this reality of losing someone. And it's so weird to say that I have been grieving the people that I am closest to while they're still here. I speak to them. My husband and cat, I get to be with them every single day. My parents I talk to quite frequently, but I've been grieving them because a part of me is connecting with a time where that may not be possible, or that won't be possible. And it's been so difficult to navigate and to make sense of, and I hope that how I'm describing it is making sense. Or even if it doesn't, so be it. But like, this is my experience, this is my reality, and it's valid. It doesn't have to make sense to be valid. It's been so hard to process the feeling of loss when you haven't even lost anything. And I've been so afraid to deal with it. I've been so afraid to look at it, to like really think, what is going to happen when the time comes? It felt really pessimistic and so draining to go there that I've just not gone there. But as a result, I've been sitting with that very heavy feeling of grief and loss because I don't know how to process it. And maybe that is something that I will learn how to do. I do hope so. I don't know what it's like to lose someone that is very close to you. I have lost grandparents that I have not had the closest relationship to. I have lost stray cats that I used to take care of back when I lived in Durban that I did not have the closest relationship to. So my experience with grief has not been what other people have experienced. And I have to be realistic and acknowledge that it is something that I'm going to have to experience. And I haven't wanted to deal with it because it sucks. It's tough. So back to why I feel this book actually found me is to help me to process that, to help me to see that things don't come to an end just because someone has crossed over, just because they have left this physical world. The stories in this book, the realizations that people have had, the signs that people have received, the direct communication that has come through from people that have crossed over, it has made me so much more open-minded to this concept of relating to people that have crossed over. It puts me much more at ease and at peace to know that when that time comes for me, that it's not the end of the relationship. It is just a different way to relate to someone else, to something else. And that I don't have to fear limitation. I don't have to fear that I will be alone. I don't have to fear that there's no other way to communicate until I myself cross over and hopefully get to connect with them in the same realm. I haven't really given much thought to what comes after being alive. I do believe that there is a home that we return to. There is a dimension that we return to, but I haven't really considered what that looks like. I just know that it feels so comfortable. It feels like home. It feels so soothing. But I don't know what the interaction will be like with the people that I'm closest to. I have no idea. I know that there are books out there that talk about this, but like I mentioned, there are too many books out there and I can't read everything at once, but I'm sure that I will get to it. And as I learn more, I will absolutely share that with you. But I do feel like this book came at a really great time. It would have been nice if it came 2 years ago, but maybe I was not in the right headspace to actually receive the wisdom of this book. Maybe everything does arrive exactly when it's meant to, right? So now has been the best time where I have had so much time to acknowledge this feeling, this very, very real feeling of grief that I have, and to now learn that it doesn't have to be so scary. It doesn't have to be so lonely. There is a different way to still be in contact and in communication with the people that I'm closest to. And the fact that I am mentioning this, maybe this is something that has been on your mind. Maybe this has been something that you have been dreading or worrying about. And so if you are wanting to learn about what it's like to communicate with those that have passed on, I absolutely recommend this book. I will recommend every book by this author, even though I haven't read them yet. Just what I have learned from this book alone, I can tell that this author knows her stuff. So she was guided to me for a reason, and she was guided to you through this video for a reason. So if you are feeling like you want to learn more about her work, her name is Laura Lynne Jackson. If you don't want to invest in a book just yet, you can search for her on the internet, you can search for her on YouTube, you can read articles about her, watch videos about what she shares. You're still going to get so much guidance and wisdom through that. And so that is what I wanted to share with you about my reading experience for this very first theme, Guided by the Universe. I am definitely looking forward to the next theme starting in April, being the light. I feel like after I have gone through this really emotionally intense season of just living and reading this book, I am ready for something lighter. I'm ready for higher frequencies, raising my vibration, and just being joyful, just living life with excitement and optimism and just being lighter. I'm really looking forward to that. So I will see you in the next reading season. We're starting in just a few days. And if you already have a book that you have chosen, please let me know what you're reading. If anything from what I've shared today has resonated with you, I'd love to hear what your experiences are and what journey you're on. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!